Chelsea top for so long, they've lost that knack of winning consistently, but manager Eddie McCreadie keeps faith with the side. Phillips in goal, at lock, Wicks, Hay and Graham Wilkins, Stanley, Lewington and Britton, Finiston, Ray Wilkins and Swain, and the substitute Harris. And the top scorer for Chelsea, it's Steve Wicks with 18 goals, and he could present one or two problems to Blackpool. As for Blackpool, manager Alan Brown also gives a vote of confidence to the team that lost at Wolves in midweek. Wood in goal, Curtis, Hart, Suddaby and Harrison, Ronson, Bentley and Ainscough, Spence, Walsh and Hatton, with Mike Summerby the substitute. And their top scorer at Blackpool, Mickey Walsh, 21 to his credit this season. The referee at Stamford Bridge today is Alan Robinson. He comes from Portsmouth.
So away we go then. Blackpool in their famous tangerine shirts with white shorts, attacking the goal to our right. Chelsea in the all-dark strip. There's Walsh and Phillips out very quickly indeed. Fine away record that Blackpool have got. They've lost only 3 away this season. Chelsea unbeaten in the league at home, and it really is crunch time now at the top of the second division. Both sides, in fact, of late have lost that little habit of winning. Chelsea have gone 8 without a win. Good cross there, and a good catch by George Wood under pressure from Lewington and from one of his own defenders as well. A long raking centre there by Ray Wilkins, and Wood making a safe catch. And Spencer up. Spence sent bowling there by the challenge of Steve Wicks. Bob Hatton. Harrison planting it forward, Spence chasing, Walsh inevitably waiting in the middle. Here's Wicks, Stanley, Lock, inside for Wilkins, nice touch there for Lewington. Stringing a few passes together now. What about that, a ball from Lewington now for Britton? Got Graham Wilkins in support. Here's Ian Britton. Good move this by Chelsea, and it's not dead yet. Yes it is. Throw to Blackpool. And applause for Chelsea for that lovely sweeping move. John Curtis, the throw. Wicks' header. Graham Wilkins for so long under the shadow of his obscured there indeed by the Blackpool player, but playing a good part now in this Chelsea promotion chase. Hatton coming in fast. That looked like an obstruction indeed. It's a free kick to Blackpool. Quite right. The obstruction there by Gary Locke on Hatton, who looked very sharp indeed there, the number 10. Bit of obstruction. So Phillips won't release that ball until he's got the ball that he wants. 4 men in it, he said, and that's what he's got. Although it looks like he might get 5 now. Britton just off the wall. In fact, he'll probably charge at the ball. There he is, waiting to charge. That's view from behind, and just over the top from Walsh. Just touched onto him, and he really let that one go, but always going just a little too high. Hart winning it in the air, and Hatton too. Wicks for Chelsea. Lewington and Britton colliding, allowing Blackpool to get in with Bill Bentley. Spence. Free kick given. So Ronson with a kick. Long and a deep one to the far side. Oh, and Spence very nearly got in there. That really could have been a nasty moment indeed for Chelsea as Ronson floated that long free kick in. The number 5, Paul Hart, got up well, and Spence very nearly was able to turn it in. Ainscough. Fighting hard, and Stanley won that well. Wilkins now trying to get Finiston on his way. And Finiston tried so hard to get a shot in, and Curtis covered well. This young Blackpool fullback did so well there, the number 2. A superb ball, though, by Ray Wilkins, which Finiston went chasing. And Chelsea thwarted in the end by the good work of the Blackpool number 2. Blackpool a little frustrated at the moment by the referee, but he felt that was an obstruction and a free kick to Chelsea. So Ray Wilkins measuring it up again. Steve Wicks has come up too, and he's hitting it low, really driven that one. And Stanley, his header helping it on its way, and in the end it was Paul Hart who put it away for the throw. Lewington. Swain. Lewington with a shot. Wood. Down behind it again. They had a quiet word with each other, but in fact the linesman's flag had been overruled by the referee. Well, he kept it in well. Turning it in, Wicks getting it away, got a bit of length on it as well, which was useful in that situation. But here's Ronson switching it nicely now for Mickey Walsh. Good ball played in there for Ronson, hit well, goal! Well, a very good breakthrough indeed for Blackpool. Walsh having a lot to do with it, and that was a very good ball he played in there for Billy Ronson, who's looked so sharp all afternoon. Quick on the turn, beyond Phillips into the roof of the net. So Chelsea 0, Blackpool 1, and Billy Ronson the scorer. Suddaby pushed to the back by Swain. In fairness, Blackpool have looked that better side. Indeed, I can't remember one clear opening that Chelsea have made in this first half, and it's Blackpool who have looked the side more likely to be challenging towards the top of the second division than Chelsea at the moment, even though they're the away side today. Stanley. And now Lewington. Finiston. Get through a tremendous amount of work, these Blackpool players. They seem to go up in strength and they come back in strength to defend as well. That's a free kick. Now Graham Wilkins. The long ball played forward, which Finiston hopefully will pursue. Look how far George Wood's come out as well. Goal kick. So a bit of relief on that Blackpool bench. Alan Brown on the right with Mike Summerby, the old Manchester City and Burnley winger. Now the substitute today, Mike Summerby on the left. Lewington. Now Wilkins played in towards Kenny Swain. Now can Swain get the equaliser? He can! A fine goal! Well, there were kisses there, and there's a lot of relief there too. A fine individual goal there by Ken Swain, nodding it down, taking it round the keeper, and as Blackpool tried to reform, he slotted that ball into the back of the net. Chelsea 1, Blackpool 1. Kenny Swain, and that takes him to 13 for the season. Well, that really was a bit of cool football there by Swain under a fair bit of pressure, and the pressure really was growing on Chelsea. Here's Walsh. Hey, getting mixed up there, and Ainsco's shot was charged down, and now Chelsea can strike out with Wilkins. Lots going up ahead of him. To no avail. Stanley with a throw. a spell this now for Chelsea. Another throw. Wilkins. Nice header there by Walsh. Here's Spence. And they got 4 up again quickly. They do like getting men up quickly. Here's Ronson. Knowing instinctively that Curtis will be there. And that had Phillips worried just for a moment or two. In fact, there was an offside and a free kick to Chelsea just outside the area. About 3 minutes to go to half-time. Free kick to Chelsea. Wilkins with it. Wasn't taken from the right spot. Right to let that one go as Swain turned that in, and Finiston very nearly put George Wood out. It came in there. Finiston was right in front of the goalkeeper, and somehow Wood managed to grab it. And there goes the half-time whistle. This crucial game, all square at the moment, after Ronson had put Blackpool ahead after 35 minutes, and 2 minutes later Ken Swain, a fine individual goal showing a lot of close skill under pressure, getting a much needed equaliser for Chelsea. A lot more to come on the big match today. We'll leave you now with the half-time score, which is Chelsea 1, Blackpool 1. We'll be right back. Well, that was a long shot there that George Wood didn't handle particularly well. At least he kept it out. And there you go, Chelsea again with Swain. So a Chelsea throw and a promising start to the second half. Beginning the day as they do, 1 point ahead of Wolves. In 4th place, 4 behind Chelsea. Spence and Locke's header. An unfair challenge there by Harrison on Ray Wilkins. So a free kick to Chelsea. So Wood, the man, is under pressure now as Wilkins and the blue shirts go charging in there. Wicks is in there too. Well, what about that for a happy picture? Steve Wicks doesn't get in amongst the goal scorers long, and that's only his 2nd of the season. But when Ray Wilkins floated that free kick in and the blue charge was on, Wicks led the way and nodded it wide of Wood to put Chelsea into the lead. Chelsea 2, Blackpool 1. Ronson. Well, I think it's fair to say also that Chelsea really only began to come into their own after they'd gone behind. Certainly in the first 35 minutes of the game, they showed not a glimmer really of promotion form, but only when Blackpool stunned them with that Billy Ronson goal did they really start putting a few things together. So a problem now for Blackpool and their management. Hart winning it in the air. Wicks. Ronson. And really a tremendous atmosphere now. Wilkins, ball there as he tried to control it, and a free kick to Blackpool. With a long kick. Derek Spence heading it and chasing it, but Wicks is there as well and forced to give away the corner. Peter Suddaby's up, so too is Paul Hart. 5. I'll send you a picture now, as you see, there he is. And Bentley with the corner. Curled in towards Spence, got the header in. Oh, and Hatton. Oh, and he was not off the line. Well, there was a miskick there by Hatton, really, when it seemed that he got the goal at his mercy, lifted it in the air, and Gary Locke, with Phillips having fallen, Gary Locke heading it away. So Bentley with another corner for Blackpool. That time Graham Wilkins got it away. Walsh. Backward header there. Oh, and Spence! Oh, Blackpool have come striking back at Chelsea. Good piece of play again by Walsh. Holding off Hay, getting it over his head. And Spence getting a glancing header in that beat Phillips and just went inside the post. 2-2, Derek Spence. Finiston. Locke's throw. Stanley. Back for David Hay. Pushed a few forward now. Wilkins header knocked away there by Hart. And another Chelsea throw. Chelsea's turn to have a little bit of dominance now. Swain just slipping it back here for Graham Wilkins. The chip coming in towards Ian Britton, outnumbered and outjumped. But Locke coming in, and Wood getting down well behind that ball that could have been bouncing differently across that, with difficulty across that muddied area. Hit that well, Locke. And Wood well behind it. Laid for Ronson. That might come for Walsh, and it was a foot wide. Again, the combination of Ronson coming through from the midfield and Walsh already up there, causing a lot of danger for Chelsea. Ronson shot charged down, and Walsh turning well on that one. Didn't get a lot of power on it, but it looked for a moment as though it might have crept in. I think it was just one. Header. It's Lewington. Swain. Wilkins touch again for Ken Swain. Scored the first goal with a lot of control and skill. So Britton with the throw. Finiston. Brought down by Suddaby. Ian Britton and Ray Wilkins between them, deciding what's going to happen here. Needless to say, Steve Wicks has come up again. It's going to be Ray Wilkins. Driven a little more by that. In fact, it had to be pushed over by the goalkeeper, with a lot of the crowd thinking it had crept under the crossbar. Wilkins varies those free kicks well. He's driven in one or two today, he's floated one or two, and that was a cross between the two. With Wood in the end just tipping it over. Well, that didn't look to me to be out of play. Hay with it. Hay going in hard again. Wicks to Britain. Oh, he was well shadowed that time by Harrison. It looks as though Chelsea might get to 9 games without a win unless they can do something very quickly. And here's Hatton. Goal kick. And one young fool on the field. And in fact, he's chasing the Blackpool number 3. Sooner he's got off the field, the better. He went chasing there after Steve Harrison, who was involved in a clash with Ian Britton. Well, that's a stupid thing to do. And the Blackpool player was very quickly running away from him. In fact, there are 3 or 4 players now on the spectators now on the field going towards the Blackpool players and being restrained by a couple of stewards. Well, this is absolutely idiotic. Well, and below, the referee is now giving Peter Suddaby a yellow card. Now, what on earth can that be for? Well, the referee's coming across to have a word with the linesman. I think the referee's got the wrong man. I think it's Steve Harrison. And now the referee and the linesman consulting. It's a way back. Well, I tell you, this is interesting, because our feeling was that it was Harrison, and he is booking Peter Suddaby. Well, we'll have to sort that one out as to what the yellow card was for. Ian Britton, you'll see there. He's saying it wasn't this fella. But the linesman and the referee confer and say it was Peter Suddaby who got the yellow card. And if you can remember where we were when all that started, you're better than I am, because oh yes, it's way back with John Phillips at the other end of the field. It in the last minute. In fact, we're in injury time. But there'll be a little bit added on for that chaotic last couple of minutes. And it's a corner for Chelsea, or is it a free kick? Free kick. Curled in there, and a good fist away by Wood under pressure. That was really a very good piece of goalkeeping, because Ray Wilkins really floated that crossing, curling wickedly all the time. Chelsea had got men up, and Wood was equal to it. Britain, last seconds, Stanley. There goes the final whistle. Just as that ball crosses the line, the whistle had gone, and it is, of course, a 2-2 final scoreline. Well, Blackpool in the lead early on through little Billy Ronson. And in fact, Chelsea then got their equaliser with Swain. Wicks put them into the lead. And then Blackpool got that second equaliser. Well, a slightly chaotic conclusion. And a full-time score here at Stamford Bridge. Chelsea 2, Blackpool 2.
And Chelsea still can't get back on that winning run. A slip of the tongue in point of fact, they've now won 1 in their last 9, but also a point of fact that Blackpool looked the more business-like side, I thought, of the 2 yesterday. And what about that strange yellow card incident near the end? Afterwards, I spoke to 2 of the players involved, Ian Britton of Chelsea, who was a victim of the tackle, and Peter Suddaby of Blackpool, who was given the caution. But first, Peter Suddaby on Chelsea.
I don't think they played as well today as they did up at Blackpool.
They beat you 1-0 up there.
And they impressed me up there as being very professional. I think every team in a season has a bad spell, or a poorer spell. I think probably Chelsea are going through theirs, but they're still up there, you know. But they weren't as professional today as they were at Blackpool.
In what way did that show itself to you?
Today? Well, they didn't seem to slow it down when things weren't going quite right for them. At Blackpool, when we were getting a little bit on top, they slowed it right down and put us out of our stride. Yet today, they let us keep the momentum going. And I think at times, you know, we were looking to win the game, whereas at Blackpool, you know, we were never in that position, really. And I think just a little bit of perhaps confidence in 1 or 2 players, not quite the same as earlier on in the season.
What about you, Ian, on Blackpool?
Well, I never played when we played up there. They're a busy side, the forwards. I think they gave us a lot of bother. you know, crossovers. The three forwards always moving for each other. They're quite a good side, actually.
Yeah.
You know, they give us a lot of bother today, especially in the first half. It wasn't too bad second half. You know, Stevie Wicks was a bit better second half. You know, he's winning a lot. In the first half, I felt they gave us a lot of bother.
Yes. And then there was that instant near the end where you were bowled over in the first place, I thought, by Steve Harrison. What was your version of that, first of all, though, Ian?
Well, like I said, I had the ball on the right, and I crossed it, but it never went in. My foot must have followed through, and then I fell on the ground anyway, but I just stood my ankle and twisted his foot, you know.
Yeah. Were you surprised then when the yellow card came out for Peter?
Yeah, I didn't even, you know, I didn't know who was getting booked. I thought it must have been the three, but when said it was Peter, I went across the ref and he said he couldn't do anything.
Yeah. I'm not asking you to shop a teammate, Peter, but you were claiming pretty clearly that it wasn't you.
I would just.
What did the ref say to you in the first place?
When well, first of all, he came over to me and he kind of pointed, and I thought he was pointing past me. And I looked, I thought, oh, it must be Steve, you know. He came up to me and he said, "What's your number?" I thought, I was just checking. I said, "Oh, I'm number 6." He said, "Oh, it's you I want." And I pleaded my innocence. And to be fair, several Chelsea players said it wasn't me. And he went back to the linesman. Then came back to me, and I thought, well, I must be clear now. And he said, "No, you're being booked." And I asked him what for. He said, "Well, I never saw the incident. I'm going on the linesman's report." And then I asked him, what was the linesman's report? And he said, "I couldn't, you know, I can't tell you now." And that was it. So I don't know what it was for.
How many times have you been booked this season?
Well, if that goes 4 points, I think I'd take him to 16 points. That's 4 times. Counting that one. 3 up to now.
What happens now, though?
Well, we'll just have to wait for the referee's report. And I think the procedure is that if I get 20 points, I can write back and say I'm going to appeal against that one if I ever get 20 points. Yeah. And I'll be asking, you know, I'd like to see some Chelsea players, if I could, in my defence, and if possible, film.
Yeah. And the
film evidence, yes.
Yeah. Well, we always make the film available to players or to referees or to whoever wants it. So obviously, you know, when you want it, you've only got to ask.
Thank you very much.
Peter and Ian, thank you very much indeed. Good luck to you in your promotion battles. Thank you. Right, let's try to get to the bottom of that yellow card incident near the end there. You've just heard Peter Suddaby of Blackpool say that he was innocent. Let's check then. It was a challenge on Ian Britton. Here he is, number 7, by the number 3, Steve Harrison. You'll see quite clearly the number 3 on his shirt. In fact, it's Peter Suddaby that he plays the ball to there. There's the number 3. Now, I'm not sure what possesses Steve Harrison to do this, as he sort of kicks into Britton as he walks away. In the back of his leg, down by his ankle. I don't think he twisted the studs in the ankle quite there, as Ian suggested. But what is surprising now is that the referee has gone to Peter Suddaby, who clearly can't understand why on earth he should be getting the yellow card. And in fact, the Chelsea players say, "I think you've got the wrong fella there, ref. You better go and have a word with the linesman." So Alan Robinson, to do the right thing, does that. But the linesman says, no, it's Suddaby. And in fact, Alan Robinson said that, as you heard Peter Suddaby say, that the referee didn't see the incident. He took it on the word of the linesman. And so it's a yellow card and a booking there for Suddaby. And in fact, you'll see in a moment that Ian Britton even comes in there to plead Peter Suddaby's case. But what I'm wondering is whether the two officials were confused by another incident after that challenge on Ian Britton. Because as we pick it up now, you'll see Suddaby falling to the ground. He'd been involved in a clash there with the Chelsea number 6, David Hay, and I wonder if that was possibly what slightly diverted the attention of those two officials. But at any rate, clearly, if the booking and the yellow card was for the tackle on Ian Britton, then clearly it's a case of mistaken identity. And I'm quite sure that the referee and that the FA and Blackpool too, being fair-minded people, would want that put right.